Our story begins in the year 594 AD, a time when the heavens themselves seem to be at war with the earth. A massive comet streaks across the sky, illuminating the faces of awestruck villagers below, its brilliance painting the sky for an entire month. The world marveled, wondering if this celestial omen heralded fortune or doom. Just 5 years later, in 599 AD, a bustling Roman marketplace. Suddenly, chaos erupts as Roman citizens collapse, succumbing to a mysterious ailment. A grievous plague ravaged Rome, Africa, and the East. The streets that once bustled with life were now silent, save for the wails of the afflicted. A battlefield is filled with soldiers. One by one they fall, their faces pale and eyes vacant. In Chianus' army, a plague struck with such ferocity that his 7 sons and countless others perished in a single day. The year 605 AD brought a winter so severe that vines withered. People shiver and huddle together as the land is transformed into an inhospitable frozen wasteland. The ground is barren and the sea is frozen. As the sea froze and fish perished. In 608 AD in the east, townspeople cough and collapse under the weight of another plague. The plague gripped the east with a relentless hold, leaving despair in its wake. In 617 AD, a comet appears again, illuminating the ancient world. A comet shone brightly for a month. 2 decades later, in 637 AD, the ground shakes as Roman citizens stumble and fall. The sky darkens as an apparition of a sword appears. Antioch was rocked by a massive earthquake, destroying buildings, ancient sites, and killing a multitude of people. The very next year, 638 AD, Palestine experienced not only an earthquake, but also the eerie sight of an unsheathed sword in the sky for 30 days. 639 AD, in the darkened skies, a comet named Docities appears in the east, bringing with it more signs of death and destruction. Syria was soon beset by a raging plague. In Italy, peasants struggle with the deformities of elephantiasis. During the reign of Emperor Heraclius, a comet stretched from south to north. Italy faced a horrifying outbreak of elephantiasis, a disease so disfiguring that the deceased were unrecognizable. In 648 AD, Constantinople is in turmoil as people and cities are affected by the devastation of a hurricane and earthquake. The Roman provinces trembled in fear. In 652 AD, a darkened Constantinople. Ashes fall from above as peasants cover their faces and cough. Under the reign of Constans III, as ashes fall down upon the great city, Constantinople is struck by a terrible plague. Fire falls from the heavens, mingling with the rain like ash. From 665 to 672 AD, in England and Italy, peasants suffer by famine and plague. England and Italy are now being beset by plagues, comets, and severe weather. A comet shone for 3 months, and a fire illuminated the sky for 10 days in 672 AD, causing great dread. More death was on the horizon. In March 673 AD, peasants stare up in awe as fire shines in the sky in the shape of a rainbow for 7 days. Was this another apocalyptic sign? In 676 AD, constant rain, thunder, and lightning. Citizens of Rome struggle against the elements. All the elements conspired against Italy and Rome. Continuous rain, thunder, and lightning for 4 months devastated the land. In 677 AD, fields for miles upon miles were covered in locusts, swarming over the land. They swarmed over Syria and Mesopotamia, followed by a desolating plague in Rome after solar and lunar eclipses in 680 AD. 681 AD, grime-covered townspeople began throwing themselves from cliffs into the sea, driven by hunger. In the days of King Ethelwald, a 3-year drought and famine led to such desperation that people... In 682 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted violently, spewing flames and smoke, killing all vegetation and causing famine and pestilence in Syria and Libya. In 687 AD, a star appeared, followed by a bright comet travelling from west to east in February. Crimson clouds and thunder as it rains blood. The milk, cheese and butter turned to blood. In 688 AD, blood rained for 7 days, and dairy products across Britain turned to blood. Severe weather forms of which the world has not seen since the ancient times, with thunder, lightning and floods. In 690 AD, Italy, Venice and Liguria faced the greatest tempest since Noah's flood, causing unimaginable damage, death and destruction. In 696 AD, the bubonic plague ravaged Constantinople while Rome suffered under famine, plague and inundations. By 700 AD, the ancient Saxons, still heathens, faced a 3-year famine so severe that in droves of 40 threw themselves into the sea in despair. And so, through the centuries, the heavens and earth waged their tumultuous dance, leaving humanity to marvel, suffer, and survive. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the dark ages of our past. May we remember the lessons of history and look to the stars with hope for a brighter future. Let us learn from history, for those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Sir Winston Churchill.